everyone, it's Froggy, and I'm back again with another episode of Nicole. So it is now December 21st, and this is Jeff's super special, amazing ending. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. I nearly burst through the doors of the class building the moment I'm done with my bio final. I'm free! I'm free! I've officially completed my first college semester ever. I'm so giddy that I just want to jump in the air. But there are way too many people around to do that. I have to pretend I have at least some shame. None of my tests are even that hard. I'm feeling pretty good about all of this. I can head out for Christmas break without worrying about my dumb grades. But I won't be heading back to California for a few days. For now, I'll just kick back and relax the best I can. Yeah, school's over for now, but I haven't forgotten about that creep who claims to be after me. It's really weird. It's been so long since they last tried to contact me. I wonder what's up with them. I shouldn't get too comfortable. If they're really the abductor, they might be up to something as I speak. I groan loudly and start walking. Man, I need to chill out. I was just in the middle of saying how I was gonna relax, and now I'm thinking about those abductions again. It's only when I see him sitting on a bench that my thoughts drift somewhere else. Jeff impatiently looks around while tapping his foot and drumming his fingers against the back of the bench. It's like he's expecting someone, and it's not hard to guess who. Is this why he wanted to know what time my last final was? Gee, I wonder if I should go talk to him. Jeff, hey! I wave at him reluctantly and try to get his attention, and Jeff bounds from the bench right for me. Ah, there she is, the lady of the hour. Before I can even edge in a word, Jeff takes me by the hand and leads me back to the bench he was sitting at. He plops me down, then sits right beside me. So? So? Oh, my test! Yes, of course. So how did it go? I've wanted to know since the moment you set foot in there. How do you know when I went in? Simply a hyperbole, my dear. Now, tell me. I wish to hear all the details. I'm sure it was a joke. A joke to you, maybe, but I found it kind of challenging. But overall, you would say that you did a good job? I nod, and Jeff eagerly shakes both of my hands. Congratulations, then I say. I was worried for a moment to think I might be dating someone who failed the introductory science course. Jeff shudders as he can think of no worse thing than that. Hey, I'll have you know I never failed a class in my life. I turn to Jeff, annoyed, but he surprises me with a quick peck on the lips. I blink as I register what just happened. That's for doing well on your final. Oh, well, thanks. And with that, my sour mood just disappears. It's kind of sad that it's all it takes, but Jeff is my boyfriend. You're acting pretty eager to please today. Am I? Jeff shrugs his shoulders, oblivious. I don't know what you mean. It's only natural to be excited on the last day of the semester, isn't it? I guess, but you just seem way too into it right now. But speaking of which, I place my bag on my lap and rummage inside for my cell phone. It has to be in here somewhere. I'm sure I've placed it in here before I took my test. Ah, found it. I have to go and call my mom now. I told her I'd call right when I was finished. She is that eager to know how you did? Hey, you can't talk, mister. I point knowingly at Jeff as I get up from my seat. Watch my bag, please, and thank you. Very well. Jeff gestures for me to be off, and I head away so I don't disturb him with my conversation. Well, it's more like so he can't eavesdrop. But when I try calling my mom, I get sent to her voicemail. I guess she's busy. I'll just leave a message. Hey Mom, just calling like I promised. There's not much really to say, so you should just call me back when you can. My phone surprises me by suddenly buzzing against my face. I hastily finish the message. Okay, bye, I love you. Was that a text from someone? No, it was another email, and it's from Roller again. Whenever I see it's a Roller message, my stomach seizes in on itself like a cave-in. I always wonder if it's going to be another fake blog made by the abductor. And what do you know? It actually is this time. The username corning to get you. I guess coming to get you. At this point, I'm way too jaded to be that scared, but the username is unsettling to read. The day has come, one last chance. Mind your own matters and keep out of places you shouldn't be in. The day has come. I take back everything I said about not being too scared. I nearly dropped my phone from how bad my hands are shaking. One last chance? What are they talking about? I never got any chances before. I look down at my phone, rereading desperately. Mind your own matters and keep out of places you shouldn't be in. What do they mean? Where shouldn't I be? Wait, do they mean that abandoned building? Did they know I was looking around there that one night? Mind my own matters? What, are they scared now that I know I'm catching on to them? I have so many questions, but I know one thing for sure. I can't back down now that I've got the abductor on the ropes like this. I'll show them just how much of a mistake it was to target me. I'm not going to let them get the better of me anymore. However, I put on the brakes as I remember about Jeff waiting for me back at the bench. I can't just go off and leave him here, can I? He was so excited to see me today, too. It can't be helped. I have to do this. If he gets caught up in all of this because of me, I would never forgive myself. When I head back to Jeff, I try not to show any signs of distress. He's pretty good at picking out emotions without trying. If I slip up for a moment, he'll be all over me with questions. To be honest, part of me is hoping that he does. Maybe hearing a voice of reason will be enough to talk me out of this. And how was that phone call? And how was the phone call? Jeff's back to sitting on the bench when I return. My bag safely held near his thigh. She didn't pick up. I had to leave a message. But I'm sorry. I totally forgot I had something to take care of after this. What? Jeff's face goes dark. Oh boy. I sense an incoming teary-eyed coming along. Oh, I see. Or not. Phew. I thought he was about to let me have it there for a second. Yeah, I have to get going now, but I promise I'll call you later. I'm sure I will see you later, Nicole. I lean over to kiss Jeff on the cheek before I get going, but he doesn't even react. Hey, are you okay? Is he more upset about me leaving than he let on? Yes, I'm fine, Nicole. Jeff shakes his head a few times and gestures for me to shoo. Go on. You said you have something to take care of. Right, I'm going. Bye. Well, that was weird. Jeff isn't normally that unreceptive. Too much going on. One thing at a time. I gotta catch this abductor, then I can figure out what's the matter with Jeff. I hurry through campus and out into town. Back to the abandoned building. I did think about bringing a weapon, but that might raise some weird questions if anyone saw me. Am I really doing this? For all I know, I'm rushing headfirst towards my own death. But I'm already here, and just think. Maybe I can get this guy all on my own. I can't be afraid. I've come this far, and I've figured out so much. There's no way I can quit now that I'm so close. This is what I tell myself as I walk into the abandoned building. It's as quiet as always, with no signs of anyone nearby. Even so, I stay on my guard and walk slowly. Anything can pop out when you least expect it. Especially with how dark it is in here. It's still afternoon, but it doesn't look like much light gets in at all. Wait, I can hear something. I turn to look down the nearby hallway, and something moves past the corner and into the shadows. I take off as the adrenaline rush comes over me, flooding out the fear that should have taken its place. That had to be the abductor. I can hear the noise more clearly now. It's like footsteps, but of someone running. I bet they don't realize they're leading me right to them. I keep chase, zipping past corners, until I hear something else. They're girl screams. Oh my god. Did they manage to abduct someone else instead? I don't waste any time. I race toward the door where I can hear the screams from and pull the door wide open. Stop! But there's no one to stop. The room is empty, and hold on. I think I've been here before. Yeah, This is that one room I investigated the last time I came here. Then where is that sound coming from? I check around, and the closer I get to the bed, the louder the screams get. I sweep a hand under the pillows, and out comes a portable MP3 player. Scowling, I press the stop button and shove back the player in frustration. What the heck is this supposed to be? There's another sound. I snap over to look at the door and see it suddenly move like someone was right there watching me. No time to be creeped out. I take off, shoving the door to the side as I run past it. They couldn't have gotten far. They have to be close. But I can't hear any footsteps. It's just as quiet as it's always been. What the heck? That can't be. I keep going, watching for signs further up ahead. I make my way into the wide hall. And suddenly, Jeff is standing right in front of me. I squeal and nearly jump in place. Oh my God, Jeff, you scared me for a moment. What are you doing here? How did you find this place? Worried, I take a few steps closer to try and check on him, but he responds by taking a few steps back. Huh? Jeff? It's obvious to see once I'm closer. Something's different about Jeff. He's not smiling, and his eyes are clouded and dark like the night of a storm. I knew you would come here. The data spoke for itself. There's no way you wouldn't have come here. Jeff, what are you talking about? I'm talking about how you go and do what you believe is the best course of action, regardless of whether you may be wrong or what others may think. Like now. I tried so hard to scare you away from all this, but no matter what I did, you persisted, kept going and going and going until now. The climax of all your efforts. Jeff forces himself to smile, but he holds his arms out wide. You did it, Nicole. Here you are. The way he says it doesn't sound like he's congratulating me at all. He sounds tired, but it can't be. Is he really saying what I think he is? Jeff, you can't be serious. About what? Being the mastermind behind all of this? He laughs and swings himself around one of the decaying beams in the room. But 'tis true. I can prove it even. Test me. Ask me about the messages I sent you on that blog site. About the blogs I created for that very reason. Jeff knows way too much to be just kidding around. It's like I can feel everything I know cracking around me. There's a sound of shattering glass ringing in my ears. Then it really was you? You're the one who's been threatening me all this time? As well as abducted the girls before you. Don't forget that. He laughs about this like it's some sort of joke, but it's not funny. Stop it. My shouting is enough to silence him. Why would you do something like that? I thought we liked each other, and then I didn't always like you. Before, when I ran into you that one night alone on campus, I found your phone. I saw the application you were on, and thought it would be interesting to play a prank on you. I wrote that message, and waited near the Lost and Found for you to discover it. The next time I saw you, I was in one of the class buildings. You were walking through campus, and I decided to send you some more messages. To me, I consider it a series of humorous jokes. After all, I had no idea who you were. Just a strange freshman girl I encountered one day in the department. But then, chance would have it that I would learn more about you, even worse, that you would learn more about me, and about who I really was. I tried to stop you from that moment on. I didn't want you involved in any of this. But none of those messages worked. They only seemed to quench your drive for investigation. In hindsight, I suppose that was one of the reasons I fell for you, however. Jeff stops his cynical way of thinking and points right at me. You have a bad habit of doing whatever you please with no consideration for others. I thought this last final message would be enough to stop you, but I should have known better. How dare you lecture me right now? You don't have any idea how badly you scared me, you jerk off. You did that to yourself. Jeff's voice goes low and serious. You're the one who decided not to tell anyone. You're the one who decided to take on this task all on your own. I've never made you isolate your efforts. That was all your conscious decision. So what? Did you want me to go crying to my mom or my dad? Ha! Or better yet, you? Would that have gotten you some kind of kick? At the very least, it would have convinced me to stop. Jeff holds his hands in front of him like he can't recognize them. I never intended for it to come to this point. The more time I spent with you, the harder it became to just say it, and then it all became too late. I was wrong. Foolishly wrong. I had thought that you would turn out the same as the others, and you did. But I never realized there was nothing wrong with them to begin with, and that is where I erred. His voice makes him sound so delicate. I nearly forget that everything has all been because of him. But there's something about this all that seems so off. Why did you kidnap the other girls in the first place? Why did it have to come to this? Because I was wrong, and because... my potion. Jeff whispers the last part in embarrassment. My potion was supposed to make it easier to form connections with other people. Thus, my hypothesis was as follows. If my potion worked, then these girls would still feel close to me, regardless of whether I held them against their will or not. I would administer the drink, gauge their reactions accordingly, and make the needed adjustments. But it never worked no matter what I did. So I would catch and release depending on whether I found a suitable candidate or not. Candidate? We're talking about people here, Jeff. They're not just test subjects. These girls were living, breathing people. You don't think I know that? Jeff screams right back at me. I didn't care before. I hadn't known any better. I'd abducted them without any remorse. And that's because I didn't see them as anything but less than human. So I kept them in that room you managed to find for 3 days. 72 hours is the amount of time that needs to pass before someone is declared missing. Just before that mark hit, I would feed them a substance that would leave them unable to remember anything. Then I sedated them so I could return them. I knew there was something wrong with what I was doing, but I decided that it was fine if it was continued. My opinions of others were abysmal. But you were wrong. Jeff nods solemnly. It is frustrating that I never would have realized this if it wasn't for you. It makes me furious that this is all because of you. You see, for that multiplies the guilt I feel over 10 times. A man can only handle so much before it all becomes overwhelming. Jeff slowly takes something out of his pocket, and I look to see it's a small ball with a short string poking out of the side. Wait, what are you going to do? I will destroy this entire building, and I will take you along with me. Jeff raises his hand above his head as if ready to throw down the ball in his hand. Is what you might be expecting from a mad scientist, correct? Jeff chuckles ruefully, then throws the ball a few times in his hand. No, I am leaving this town, and perhaps this world entirely. I am not sure yet. It depends on how much further I choose to sink into this already deep abyss. This is to ensure you don't follow me, Nicole. It wouldn't do to wrap you up any further in a madman's ploys. However, before I go... Jeff takes out the lighter and stares fondly at the flame, almost nostalgically. This will be the last time that we will ever see each other again. So please, if you could remember the tale of the great alchemist, Jeff Ryan. He wears a sad smile as he brings the lighter to the fuse, and I know it's too late to stop him by then. And despite his sorry state of affairs, remember that he cared for you to the bitter end, my dear. Jeff flings the ball and it erupts in a blue-colored smoke, filling the room. I stop and bring my hand to my throat and start hacking and wheezing. No! Jeff, he can't do this. I won't let him do this. He's done terrible things, but he can't just leave. With a deep breath, I cover my mouth and nose with a hand before I dash desperately into the smoke. If I lose Jeff now, I lose him for good. And even though everything that's happened, I can't let that happen. My arms swing out widely and I see a shape come into the form ahead. I yell, flinging my body with the extra burst of speed it needs to break through and pounce on top of Jeff. We both hit the ground hard, rolling around in the debris and dirt until I'm finally on top of Jeff, pinning him by his shoulders. He looks up at me, breathing heavily, and I can see what he means to ask without saying it. Why? I shout the first thing that comes into my head. You can't do this! This isn't fair! I finally find out that it's you who's been behind everything and you decide to run before I have my say? What is there left to say? It is true, I am the one. I abducted those girls. I made you think I was going to abduct you. But you were never going to. In fact, I think you wanted me to catch you. That's why you helped me, isn't it? Before, when I was asking around with Alicia, you didn't hide anything. I'd understand trying to keep up pretenses, but you told me way too much. You asked me to be your assistant, to get close to you. Even after that, do you remember? That day I came chasing after you to stop you from burning all of your books? You kept the lab door unlocked. I didn't think of it as anything major, but all of these little things, the door, the messages, this, what you just said. You give yourself away without realizing it, Jeff. Somehow, what you really want makes itself known. Jeff can only look up at me angrily. And you're not even resisting me right now. It doesn't matter. I am doing what is right. I will no longer be in your life, and with everything I've done, that is how it should be. That's not how it should be. Stop telling me what you think I want to hear. If nothing else mattered now, what would you say, Jeff? What would you want? Come on. You've been shoving your real feelings down my throat for the last semester, and now when it really counts, you keep quiet? I start shaking Jeff hysterically, screaming for a reaction. God damn it, tell me, Jeff! What is it you really want? I want you to forgive me. Jeff's shout cuts through mine altogether, and his eyes blaze as he finally starts to buck under me. I want you to forgive me, Nicole, for everything. And then I want you to come with me. Throw away everything to be with me, and I promise to make you happy in exchange. I want to spend more time with you. I want to be there for you no matter what. What I really want, more than anything, I want you to be by my side. Jeff's voice goes quiet. His eyes waver as they look at me, and I can hardly keep contact with what I'm about to say. Well, I can't do that, Jeff. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be right. I can't let you get away after everything you've done. Yes. Jeff huffs contemptuously and lays his head back down against the concrete, seemingly resigned. It wouldn't be very much like you otherwise. You didn't let me finish, you doofus. As long as you promise to do the right thing and to atone for everything you've done, then I'll be there for you. For as long as it takes. What? Jeff's eyes widen, and his back arches against the floor as he strains to look at me. Do you not understand what I did? The punishment won't be easy on me. My sentence could be years at best. To claim you will stay by my side through that? Well, you did say that was what you wanted. I make sure Jeff can see my face so he knows I'm not joking. I don't know if I should bother or if it's the right thing, but I have to go with my gut, and what my gut is telling me is that it feels right. I know that I care for you a lot too, Jeff, so I want to make sure you right your wrongs, for your own sake. I see. Jeff gives off a long sigh as he gazes at the far corner of the room. Not the most romantic answer, but it does still warm the heart to hear. It makes incarceration seem less daunting now. So you'll do it? You'll turn yourself in? Considering my other alternative was death, then yes, I will turn myself in, and hopefully that will be the start of my redemption. However, first things first. You'll have to punch me. I balk and nearly pull off of Jeff. Huh? What are you talking about? It will look better that way, more legitimate if you hand in a criminal you were forced to subdue. Don't you agree? Well, yeah, but... Yes, you don't want to hurt me. It is fine. It's what must be done. Just consider it as recompense for what I did to you. Sheesh, if you put it that way. I lean over and kiss Jeff on the mouth, holding his head between my hands. We keep like that for a few moments, completely engrossed in each other, until I finally have to draw back for air. You're a great guy, you know. I know you are. I ask you to remember that when the news attempts to tell you otherwise. Jeff smirks jokingly for a fleeting moment before he steels his face and clenches his eyes shut. Okay, do it now, before I lose the nerve. I exhale tensely and shake my hands out of my sides. I rear my right hand back, right past my shoulder, and look down at Jeff's defenseless face. I'm really sorry about this, Jeff. I let my hand fly right for him. The police come 20 minutes after I call them, filling the streets with red and blue blinking lights. I'm asked questions, so many questions, but I can only answer them half-heartedly as I watch Mr. Starr cuff Jeff and take him away. How did you apprehend him? How did you find him? I tell them I was targeted, reciting the script that Jeff would have wanted me to. I know it has to be this way. Jeff is usually right about these sorts of things. I just never expected it to turn out like this, or that Jeff would be the one behind everything. But I did make a promise to him. While I'm still uncertain of what'll come to be, I know for sure that this is the beginning of the end. I managed to solve the mystery of the abductions. I only wish it wasn't so bittersweet. It's been a while since everything happened. Fresh into the new year and the start of spring semester is just around the corner. I've been waiting a long time for this day. The guard tips his head as I show him my visitor's pass along with my driver's license. Everything's in check, so he opens the door to the visiting office and lets me through. There are small tables set everywhere, already occupied by people. Prisoners seem to sit on the north side of the table while visitors on the right across. Maybe it's for the sake of the guards. There are also a few vending machines near the side of the room behind the fenced gate. Am I feeling thirsty, or am I just nervous? Also, why am I suddenly paying so much attention to this place? I should be looking for him. I step out from behind the gate, and it doesn't take me long to spot Jeff sitting at one of the tables. It feels like it's been way too long since I've seen his face. I'd run up and hug him if I was allowed. Jeff! I call his name excitedly, doing my best to keep my voice under. Jeff looks up from his hands on the table and rises to his feet. Wordlessly, he holds his arms out and I rush into him. I feel like I'm melting as I nestle into his arms. However, an officer's voice from the back quietly snaps us out of it. Right, no excessive physical contact. I've read the rules, I can do this. With a sheepish smile, I take a seat opposite Jeff while he takes his. I almost don't know what to say. This is kind of awkward. So I just say the first thing that happens to pop into my head. How are you? Jeff hesitates to speak for a moment. Forgive me. I'm still in the middle of basking in your presence. I still cannot believe that you came all this way here to visit me. Please. My dad's place is like 20 minutes away. It's not out of my way. It was a real hassle trying to convince him to let me come here, though. What did he say? You probably don't want to know. Make that double for my mom, but I convinced them, somehow. They probably think I'll grow out of it, but that's totally not happening. I mean, come on. Who else can say their boyfriend is a convicted felon? Jeff stares blankly at me, and all I can do is chuckle awkwardly. That was supposed to be a joke. Not funny in the least. I graded a 3 out of 10. Mind you, that was me being generous. I frown at him, but hey, at least he still has that weird sense of humor. That's a good sign. You never answered my question, remember? Ah, right. About my state of affairs. I am growing accustomed to it. Life in prison is less scary than the television had made it seem. I do have to keep on my toes, but it's manageable. As long as you don't end up someone's wife, I'm happy. Don't kiss anyone either. Jeff makes a face as if utterly disturbed by the notion. You don't have to worry when it comes to that. You are the only one I have affections for. His usual tone of voice returns with that proclamation, and I smile as I see the life return to him. What's that for? What? That smile. It's different from what I remember. It does feel a bit different now that he brings it up. I think it's just... I don't know how to explain it. I guess I haven't been this happy in a long time. I smile in embarrassment. I can't believe I've actually said that. Jeez, what'll he think now? But Jeff doesn't look disgusted or annoyed. He glances from side to side as if checking on the guards, then his hands slowly slide across the tabletop toward me. Jeff, is that allowed? As long as we keep our hands in sight, I'm sure it's acceptable. He eyes me in a way that I can tell he's totally lying, but this isn't an opportunity I'm about to pass up. Just as surreptitiously as he did, I slide my hands over until they're resting on top of his and curl my fingers. Jeff grabs back and looks down at our conjoined hands with a soft smile. I missed this. I missed you. It's the same for me. I laugh a little as I feel the tears beat up in the corners of my eyes. No, crying is so lame. Don't do it. Not now. Through sheer willpower, I manage to hold back my tears, not doing much to cover up the ones that have already escaped. Hopefully, Jeff won't notice if I play it cool. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Jeff's face falls as he notices my state, and he grips my hands even harder to try and reassure me. The only thing that keeps me going is the thought of you, so please do try to remain strong for my sake. I promise I'll make it up to you in 3 years. Don't worry, I'm fine. Totally fine. I notice the guards giving us a funny look, so I let go of Jeff's hands to wipe my eyes. It just got the better of me for a moment is all. I'm going to be holding you to that. I'll be in law school by then, so I'm going to need the support. Jeff groans and leans back in his seat. Please don't remind me. I'm still getting accustomed to the idea that you'll be further ahead of me academic-wise. Serves you right. I waggle my eyebrows at him and cross my arms in my seat. Don't worry. I'm sure I'll have some need of an assistant when you're out. Jeff eyes me incredulously, but his expression soon softens out into a warm, receiving smile. Save me the spot, or you may regret it. Well, it's like you said. There's nothing to worry about when it comes to that. I look him right in the eyes as I start speaking unabashedly. After all, you're the only one I love. So that's the end of Jeff's route. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want to see more videos like this one, then just click the I at the top, and if you want to see the rest of the route, then don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching.